Hey Joe, how do I write a business plan for my real estate investing business? You don't really need one. Business plans are great in school, business school, where they teach you how to build it and try to predict what's going to happen, but I find it's really hard to predict what's going to happen. It's really hard to predict where it's going to go until you've done this for a while. So what you need to do is look at, well, how much do I actually need to survive? How am I going to go through this? And most of the time, I would suggest that if you currently have a job, you don't quit that job. You stay in that job until you make enough money 3 months in a row that equals or exceeds the amount that you need to live on every month. Once you've done that 3 months in a row, you can probably do it for the rest of your life. So you don't really need to make that happen. A business plan is all about predicting the future and trying to figure out what's going to happen in the future. How am I going to get to this point? And if you've been listening to what I've been teaching, this whole system is a business plan. It's a business system. And this system will give you an idea of how much is possible to make based upon the amount of money that you can make on each transaction. So if you look at a transaction, you say, well, I'm going to be able to make $5,000 per transaction that I flip. How many of those transactions can I do in a month? How many do I need to do in a month in order to survive? Most people can live on $5,000 a month. Most of us want to live on more than that. So let's say you could do 2 transactions a month. That gives you $10,000 a month. That's $120,000 a year. And that's if you're only getting $5,000 per transaction. You can also get more money per transaction and make it a little bit more profitable and have to do less deals. So let's say you do one deal that makes you $10,000 a month, only $5,000 in cash, and maybe $5,000 as a promissory note that brings in $200 a month. So you do that, you have $5,000 a month plus $200. The second month you have another $5,000 a month, plus you got another $5,000, that's $400 that month. The following month it's $600 on top of the $5,000. The following month it's $800 on top of the $5,000. And then by then maybe you're gotten good enough so that you can do 2 transactions or 1.5 transactions or 3 transactions or 5 transactions or 10 transactions in a month. And then things start really getting interesting, because it doesn't take long before you're making $2 or $3 or $4 or $500,000 a year doing this. The other thing that you're going to start thinking about is not just flipping the properties, but actually keeping them for the long term. Once you reach the point where you don't need any more money to live on, and you're not just wasting that money, you want to invest it back into real estate. So you take your capital and you start buying little houses that you can rent. So you go out and spend $40,000 or $50,000 in a lower income area, rural area or urban area, and buy a property and maybe put $5,000 or $10,000 fixing up that property. And maybe after that it's going to be worth $60,000 or $80,000. One of the things that I've been doing a lot of lately is buying these little properties in these little towns in a rural area in southern Illinois. It's a fairly large area. There's maybe 2 hours across, and we've been buying a bunch of these little things, and we'll buy them for $10,000, $15,000, $20,000, and we'll make payments on them that are 100% principal payments, no interest on them. So, and we'll make maybe $200 or $300 a month payments on them. They'll have $600 or $700 a month of income. We'll have some taxes on there, so we'll have some income, maybe a couple $100 a month of income on that property. That money comes in, plus the money that goes towards the principal, buys it down and pays that property off in 4 to 7 years, typically. Plus we get lease option fees on them, so we'll get a few $1,000s, $3,000 to $5,000 in cash, plus another $3,000 to $5,000 as a promissory note, which adds another $150 or $200 a month to that income. And then, of course, we get the equity in the property because we'll put a little bit of money into it. And so we bought that property for maybe $20,000. Maybe we put $10,000 of my cash into the property, and now that property is worth $60,000 because we fixed it up and it's looking really nice. And we've got income from that property that's going to feed us for the rest of our life, give me all my capital back, probably within the first year or two. With the investment that I put in, and then the payment on the mortgage is going to be paid off in 5 to 7 years. Those types of deals are amazing, and it's hard to predict when you're going to get them and how you're going to get them. But if you set up these deals and you constantly market into these deals, you're going to get a lot of them that you can build a really nice portfolio in a pretty short period of time. So stop focusing on creating and writing a business plan. Just get to work. And the best way to start making money is to start making offers. If you're not making offers, if you're not learning how to do that effectively, you're not going to make any money at all. So you want to spend the time. And I tell my mentor students, give yourself 8 to 10 hours a week to make offers. Nothing but on the phone, talking to sellers, making offers. And I make them commit to that before they can sign up for my program, because I really don't want anybody to come in the program that's not going to make money. So if they'll commit to that time, then I can pretty much guarantee that they're going to go through here and they're going to make money in this process. Anyway, forget business plans. Get to work, do that, put that effort in, and you'll start making money. All right, subscribe to the channel. Click the like button. Go to my website, joecrumpblog.com, sign up for my free newsletter. Go to pushbuttonautomarketer.com and get a flood of seller finance leads that'll come into your inbox every day. All right, take care.